Hey everyone, and welcome to my craft room. My name's Julianne Richards and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in southern Tasmania. Okay, this is the tutorial video for my April Fun Fold class. If you've purchased this class, you will be seeing this one and crafting along, or watching it first and then crafting your projects. If you're watching it afterwards on YouTube, and you'd like to get involved in my classes, please reach out. I know my email address is on my YouTube channel, or you can pop over to my Facebook page and get the details there. Every month I produce what I call a 3D class, or a fun fold class, and basically in your kit you get everything you need to make the projects, except for adhesives and sentiments, because I'm not allowed to stamp sentiments before I send them out. So yeah, so if you've got adhesives and some favourite sentiments, you can definitely make the projects that you're watching here today. Okay, so what I might do is get started. I'm going to do one video for all three cards, so we'll work through them one after the other, just because a couple of them are very, very quick, so I don't think we need 3 videos for the 3 projects. We might start with this one on the left, which is probably the most intricate of all, and we'll end off with the little what I'm using as a tea bag holder as the last one. Okay, so this is fundamentally a Z fold. I think you'd probably call it a Z fold gate card, because it's got the sort of gate at the front, but definitely a Z fold card. We're using the wonderful radiating stitches dies from the current online exclusives offer, plus a few items from that same online exclusives offer, including the embossing folder from the 3D basic embossing. I am actually using the little die box from the Sentimental Park, so if you like that one, that's in the Sentimental Park dies, and this beautiful balmy blue and white ribbon as well, which just ties a bow so easily. Actually, I haven't put it in my kit, so I'm going to have to grab it before we get that far. Okay, so, and another little tricky technique I've popped in here for you, if you choose to, you don't have to do it, is just running a very fine ink line around that inside panel, which I'll show you when we get there. But as I say, if you don't like that look, you can definitely live without it. Okay, so be very, 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 very careful when you're opening your kits for this class. I say that up front. This one, there'll be some iridescent gems in there. Be very, very careful before you open this one, because these little dots here are loose. So they are loose somewhere in your envelope, and you could possibly lose them if you don't. I've very carefully picked out 3 for each kit, so yeah, please be careful when you get that out, because it could fall on the floor and you'll never find them. They're so small. Okay, so I've got 2 kits in here, one for now and one for our Zoom. So if you come along to the Zoom, we'll do the other one. But anyway, you have a Z fold card here. So that's the basis of this card, which is the basis of lots of our cards. It's actually a 8" by a 5.5" piece of cardstock, scored at 2 and 4 to give us our Z. You've then got another panel that's been cut with the radiating stitched die. Nice big panel there. I love that one. You can turn it into a very nice frame as well if you cut the middle out. You've got another smaller piece of white cardstock that's been popped through the flowery design of the basic 3D embossing folders, which is also an online release. You've got your little sentiment box, as I say, from the Sentimental Park. You've got, and I think you've got your ribbon and your bling, of course, which I haven't got in here. I'm going to have to get. And you've got a little piece of designer series paper. Now this is from the Regency Park designer series paper, so if you like that one, please pop on and get that before it retires at the end of the month. Okay, so I've got a wee bit of ink on my thing. It's not going to matter too much because I'm going to cover it. Oh, I haven't got the centerpiece out, the centerpiece for the back. Must be in there too. I wouldn't have missed that, would I? No, here it is. So you've got another piece of cardstock, and that's for that inside back there, which I'm going to, as I say, use that little technique where I pop the ink around the edge. Now I do need to grab my Night of Navy ink, which I should have got out before, but I didn't. Where is it? Night of Navy. There we are. So I'm going to use my Night of Navy ink for my sentiment and for that little special technique, but you can use whatever you like. Okay, because I'm just picking the Night of Navy out of that designer series paper. Okay, so let's get started. We might actually pop the ink around this first. So I'll show you the little technique first, and the reason I'm going to do it first is because then I want to get it far, far away until it dries. I don't know what it is about particularly doing this, but it takes a while to dry, and if you touch it or get it on the rest of your card, especially with the white cardstock, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. Well, maybe that's a bit of extreme, but anyway, so you've got, this is just the blank panel that's going to sit on the inside. I've got opened up my Night of Navy ink, and I'm just going to pop it, the edge of the card, just down, sort of perpendicular, coming down onto the ink pad, and you might see there, you get a very fine, you'll see it a bit more when I put it against the white, you get a very fine ink edge. So that obviously the longer you keep it on the ink pad, the higher, the thicker the edge is going to be, but I'm just popping it there just for the barest moment, and you get that edge. So if I pop that down now on my white grid paper, you should see, maybe I'll bring it a bit closer, I'm being very careful. As I say, it takes a while to dry. Just pop it against a white background. You can see there we've got a very fine blue edge. So fine you probably can't even tell it's blue, but it is just a very fine colour. Okay, so as I say, I'm going to pop that aside now and let it dry before I get ink everywhere. So I'll just check my hands. Okay, cool. Me and white cardstock aren't necessarily the best friends. Okay, so what we're going to do now is grab our Radiating Stitches piece of cardstock, and it's going to sit just on the front there of our card. So position it so that you've got the same distance, the sides, each side, and the same distance top and bottom, and just add some glue on the left hand side there so it just glues to the front of that Z. Okay, so just there is a ribbon to be taken into account here, so I'm sort of watching how far I go before it's too far and the ribbon is forgotten. So anyway, we're just adding that to the front half of the Z, just with glue on its left hand side, and as I say, so it's even all the way around. So that's basically the look you've got there. So it's a bit of a funny end shape when you look at it like that, but that's what you're after. Okay, so then we might pop that aside for a few minutes because this is where our ribbon's going to come in. So we've got our little piece of embossed white, and we've got our little piece of cardstock, designer series paper, which is going to glue the designer series paper to the little piece of embossed white. I've had so many, I had my pre-order delivered. If you've been watching my YouTube, my Facebook page lately, you'll realise that I just got my pre-order, and I keep forgetting that I've had to do these videos because there was just so much new stuff to get me excited. Okay, so I'm going to have to grab the ribbon, which, as I said, I didn't give myself in my pack, which was a bit silly. Okay, so from memory, I think you've got about 17 inches of ribbon, so I'll measure myself that out. It's a fair bit for a fun fold class. I don't usually splurge like that, but this one has to go all the way around our little embossed piece and be tied off in a bow on the right hand side. Okay, so we're going to, and that's about halfway. That's halfway up there. So pop that in there and tie it off on a bow towards the right hand side. Try not to pull it too tight. I pulled my original too tight and actually squished my cardstock a bit, so don't yank it too tight when you're doing this. if you don't want to do what I did. Okay, as I said, that ribbon is just so nice to pop in a bow. Just so soft. There we are. So that's my little bow there on the left-hand side. Now, obviously, we haven't stuck that to the back, so if you find that you haven't gone far enough, you can just very gently slide it a little bit further. What we're going to be doing is bringing in our sentiment box, and it'll sit onto the left-hand side there. So you can see that's why we've popped it on the hard up on the right-hand side. Okay, so let's bring back our card base. Now, this little piece of cardstock and ribbon is going to sit straight on there. I've just glued this one, so you can just glue it. We then will put the sentiment box on dimensional. So yeah, so I think just gluing this one is fine. You've got to capture your ribbon so it doesn't move around. So I'm actually going, I might actually use double-sided tape just to do an extra job on that ribbon so it doesn't move. But glue would do the same. Or snail. Let's bring that in. Now I'm pretty much committed now to that ribbon being in that bow being in that position. I'm pretty happy that that's okay. There we are. That blue and white is just so pretty. Just love it. Okay, so now let's stamp our sentiment. I'm going to use the same sentiment that I used on my original card, which is the thanks from the Season of Chic. If you had the dies that, I think I do have the sentiments that go with this one, but I think the thanks is quite nice and it fits quite well. I think it's that one. No, it's not that one. Where did I get my thanks from? It's too small. Well, let's bring in the something fancy. Is there anything there I like? No. What other stamp sets have I got handy that I can use? Oh, this is the brand new Cheerful Daisies. Which one will we could use one of those. Wishing you the brightest birthday. I reckon that would fit. I just didn't want to have to go scrambling around my sentiments to find the right thanks. But anyway, we'll turn this one into a birthday card. You can always use birthday cards. Wishing you the brightest birthday. Again, I'm going to use my Night of Navy ink, which is here, hiding. Hopefully it'll fit in here. Yep, it does. Wishing you the brightest birthday with the brightest blue. There we are. No, I like that. That's a lovely sentiment, that one. I love the fonts. Okay, we're going to bring in some dimensionals. And then we'll pop in that central. Now that should be well and truly dried. Bring in that little centre piece. This is the most, I won't say complicated, but the most involved card in this class. The other two are quite, I won't say simple, but straightforward. I'll pop a fair few dimensionals on this one now that I think about it, because it needs to trap that ribbon and it needs to also sort of grab onto the card on either side of the ribbon as well. So it needs to go right to the edge, which is not what I did. So a few more dimensionals than I would probably normally use. There we are. That should get it now. So I'm going to butt that as close up to that ribbon there, that little bow that I have, to make sure it doesn't go off the edge too far. There we are. Yeah. So nice. Love the blue and the white. You've heard me say that already though. Okay, so there we are. We'll bring in this little central panel now that we've got it well and truly dry, and you'll see probably much easier now than you did before just how effective that little extra ink is. You can see what I meant about it. You probably can't, about it, how it smudges quite easily. There's a little smudge down there, but that's okay. I'll use that towards the back. And there we are. Yeah, so you see that you've got that nice little fine edge, a lot finer than you would ever get. You know, if you layered that up with a piece of Night of Navy, you would never get it quite that fine. But this way, it's just the barest, almost pencil mark. There we are. Wishing you the brightest birthday. I think I might leave it at that. And that's that first card. Well, nearly finished. We need some bling. And I didn't give myself any bling. Oh, terrible. I hope your kits are better than mine. Let's have a look. Okay, you should have iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. And you should have 3 of them. As I say, as long as you're very, very careful bringing your kits out of their packets. So just pop your gems or jewels around. And that one is done. That one is done now. Okay, really nice. I love that one. That was my sort of, because the other 2 projects are quite simple. This was my all-out over-the-top card. And still, it's quite simple and delicate, but it's lovely. Okay, hope you like that one. So let's pop that away. We'll come back with our second project. Just make sure I've got everything popped it back in its little container, little packet. I'll not to scrunch my ribbon too much. It's bound to happen. That's okay. There we are. So that's card number 1. Hope you like that one. Okay, so let's come back with card number 2, which I'm calling this one here. Now, this is just a note card size. Now, some of you will have the silver on white. Some of you will have what I have here, which is the gold on cream. And some of you will have a copper on white. So there's, depending on how much paper I actually had of each colour, that's what you've got. So basically all I have is, it's a 4 1/8 square card, basically with a hole, with a layered circle hole in there. Sadly, I couldn't use a punch because it couldn't quite go in far enough to put it in the centre. And then the beautiful embossed paper is also from the current online exclusive release. And I've used the die from the Irresistible Blooms to give it that lovely circular sort of, circular drops sort of look, which is really, really nice. And as I say, I think this is a perfect little wedding card, or wedding or engagement sort of gift card. And I've put "Here's to beautiful beginnings and happily ever afters." And that is from the Something Fancy stamp set as well, which is continuing in the next catalogue, so we're not going to lose that one. Okay, so here we go. I have got the very vanilla and gold version, but everyone's should be the same. Just get them out. Okay, so be very, very careful. As I said, there'll be some of the loose frosted dots in there, which you don't want to lose. Okay, mega, mega, mega simple, this one. You're basically going to pop your designer series paper just straight onto your cardstock like this. So your holes, I've designed it so your holes should match up. And obviously with the sort of little circular part of this one, it doesn't really, you know, exact isn't really necessary because they're going to be, as long as you can line the holes up mostly. I'm going to pop some glue on the largest of the dots around the edge because you obviously want it to stick to your cardstock. Like so. So I've got it all around the edge, and then on those larger of the dots, just bring it in. Make sure it is, you've got a very small border of cardstock around the edges. And as I say, those two holes should line up fairly well if I've done my job right and cut it right. There we are. That's it. Then you will bring in your chosen sentiment. What did I say? Here's to happy beginnings. What is it? Beautiful beginnings and happily ever afters. Pop it on a block. Oh, so on the silver version, I have used grey granite as the colour, but on this one, I might just use black. Yeah, I think I'll just use black, just so it'll stand up nicely against the gold. So making sure your hands are clean. Bring your sentiment in through the hole so you know that you're going to align properly. So you probably have to be a little bit particular about what sentiment you actually use so you know that it's going to fit in that hole perfectly, whereas this one's pretty much exact. So there, so that's here's to beautiful beginnings and happily ever afters. Now grab your loose frosted dots out of your pack. You should have, you know, one of each colour, not too much of one or the other, and just randomly pick some of the circles from the designer series paper, the little dots. Try and keep them in some sort of whatever order, whatever pattern you like to have your embellishments in. I always go for a triangle. I'm going to grab take my pick tool and pop them on. So they don't have adhesive on the back, so you sort of need to use something to keep them on. Add your own glue, so to speak. There you are. So I've got one pink, one yellow and one green there. That's really nice. Okay, so that's card number 2. That's a nice quickie, that one, isn't it? Those dies just make it so easy. Lovely. All right, so that's card number 2. Hopefully you like that one as well. Okay, the last one. And this is our little gift card, after dinner mint, chocolate, whatever you want to use it for. And there's a wee bit of a surprise in there, especially if you're in my VIP club. I've popped a little surprise in there for you since we've got Mother's Day or someone's special day coming up. I thought I'd send you all a wee surprise. But we'll get to that in a second. So in your kit, you'll have a 6x6 piece of designer series paper. This is from the Tea Time. I can't remember what it is. That's a bit slack of me, isn't it? Tea Time something. Anyway, it's the one with all the little teapots, because a lot of you have got teapots. Tea, let's search tea. I know it comes with a lovely bundle that has like a little teacup. The Tea Boutique 6x6 designer series paper, actually on a really good special at the moment and still available but retiring soon. So you get 48 sheets of this designer series paper for $14.70. So that's a really good special if you're watching this at the time and it's still available. Okay, so this is a bit of origami, really. So basically, with your designer series paper, you just need to decide which side you want to show most of. I'm actually going to show the yellow side more, and fold it. And I've got to remember, you can always come back and redo the folds. Fold it diagonally from one corner through to the other corner. You don't have to score it. If you're happy just to fold it with your fingers and then score them, you don't need to use your scoreboard if you're happy just to fold and burnish. Okay, so then you bring that back, you fold, I've got to remind myself as well, one corner, yes, that's it, one corner down till it touches that straight edge, and you burnish that. Then the other corner down, that's it, the other corner, so it goes over to the other side. So where that corner is there, this one touches over there. Okay, and you burnish that as well. It's getting pretty thick at this stage, so you do have to be a little bit firm with your burnishing. Okay, so you've got this sort of shape now. So let's see what we've done. We folded it in half diagonally, then brought that side over there, this side over there. Okay, give that a burnish. It's not quite burnished properly. You might have to watch this one a few times before you get it. Then that front tab there, that little front one there, just folds down and over. Okay, so there you are. Straighten that one up a bit, it's gone a bit funny. Okay, and then this one down and over, and you made yourself a little pocket. Okay, now that holds itself together pretty well. Well, now that you flick that piece over and down, it actually holds itself together pretty well. It doesn't come undone because that bit sort of latches over the top of the folds and keeps them nice and firm. You could, if you wanted to, and I might do it just for this one, bring in some glue and just pop some glue in under there and just glue that down. And that would make it well and truly locked in place. That's not going anywhere now. But as I say, you don't necessarily have to, because it will just hold itself in place there. So I might unfold this one. This is my original. I might unfold it and we'll go through the folds again, just so you're not too confused. Okay, so you've got your piece of designer series paper. You fold it in half diagonally like that. You bring one corner up and over so that it forms, what do we say, so that corner touches the center of that opposite edge. You do the same, you bring this corner over so it touches the other edge, and then the front part you fold it down and then you glue it if you want to, but as I say, it's not necessary because it holds itself together. So you get that cute little sort of pocket. Okay, so then what we need to do is make our little tag. So in your pack you will have a little coloured tag. It looks a bit like a tea bag tag, and a little white square. So the little white square is going to have our sentiment on there. I've got nothing fancy, just love on this one, but I'm going to do something a little bit different on this one, because often when you're giving somebody a little tag like this, it's for something to say you're thinking of them or you're there for them. So what I thought I'd use is the I'm here for you. I'm here for you out of the Seasons of Chic. And just to give that tag, just take a little bit of the whiteness off that tag. I'm going to use my matching ink. So If you've got the yellow tag, probably use a yellow ink. I've given myself the Fresh Freesia tag, so I'm going to use my Fresh Freesia ink. So that yellow, that would be so saffron, but any yellow would do. I'm going to use the Fresh Freesia because that's the tag I've given myself. I'm just grabbing a random flower, this one from the set, stamp off once and then stamp onto the white, just to give it a very faint little amount of colour, just to take that starkness off. Then I'm going to grab the sentiment I'm going to use, which is the I'm there for you. Or I'm here for you, whichever it was. I'm here for you. And I'm going to grab my black ink and pop it on the top of that little flower there. And then it becomes a lovely sort of getting together and chat sort of card or gift. Okay, I'm here for you. We'll glue that onto our little tea bag shaped tag. The punch that I made this tag with is also retiring, and I'm assuming it's on some sort of special. I haven't actually looked, but there, it's a nice little one. I've got an ink splodge. Always check your fingers are clean because sometimes they're not. Anyway, that's all good. We've got our little tag there. So what I'm going to do is grab, what's this one? Is grab our tag. Now, it's up to you guys what you can do. This little one for the original, I basically just grabbed the tag and I'm just going to pop it inside with anything that I happen to be giving with the gift, or you could attach it to the front. I just thought on the front it's a wee bit big and it covers everything over. So what you need to do is, if you're going to put it on the outside, you probably need to tie your ribbon and pop that there. So it sort of will tie a bow. You've got some ribbon in your kit. You will have the beautiful white glittery ribbon, but I ran out just as I was making my own kit. So since I was featuring Fresh Freesia, I grabbed some Fresh Freesia ribbon. I'll make a little bow out of that. Okay, so if you're going to have the tag on the outside, I just pop some glue on there and pop it down, and then just pop the bow. Bring it a bit closer so you can see. Pop the bow on the top of the tag like that. Actually, because I've done the other one the other way, I might do this one that way. So with this one, I'm going to pop the tag on the front. Might pop it up on some dimensionals. We're not going to be trying to get this into an envelope or anything, so it doesn't matter if it's quite bulky. There we are. So then pop that just on the front. I like it at a slight angle, but you could put it straight if you wanted. Then I'll grab a glue dot. Glue dot, glue dot, glue dot, glue dot. And we'll attach our little bow. Find where the glue dots start. Here we go. And I'm just going to pop that just on that little top tab part of the tag. There we are. So as I say, you can decide whether you pop your tag inside with whatever it is that you're going to use it to give. And then if you do that, I would just pop, as I did with this one, but I took it off, pop your ribbon just on the outside, just on there. So they're your choices, I suppose. pop your little tag inside and then put your ribbon on the outside, or pop both of them on the outside. There we go. Okay, so now part of the little gift from me to you, in your kit you should have a couple of sachets of coffee or tea or herbal tea, sort of all random. So I haven't really chosen anything in particular for anyone in particular, but just a random. So hopefully you'll get something that you can like, or if you know somebody who likes that sort of tea or coffee, you can pass it on. So anyway, they're my gift to you, just a couple of little tea bags or a coffee bag. Pop them in there. And there you are. That's my little gift to you. Whether you decide to use it or re-gift it, that is like totally up to you. So, but anyway, so I hope you have a lovely Mother's Day, something special day. If you don't celebrate Mother's Day, I'll be thinking of you whichever way you go. So there we are. So that's our last project. Okay, so there we are. So that's the end of this video. I'll pop those away in a second. We have our little tea bag gift card chocolate holders there. We've got our little sort of wedding engagement gift tag, note card, and we have our beautiful Z fold gate as well, which I think is my favourite with the blues and the whites. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that class. As I say, if you're interested in doing future classes or joining my VIP club with great savings for paying 6 months in advance, please reach out. Have a great day. I hope these go well for you. If you have any questions, like there's anything missing out of your kit or you don't understand anything that I've done during this video, please reach out as well. Happy to help and make sure that you get success with the projects that you purchase. So anyway, have a great day, and I will chat to you all next time.